is not going to contain everything I'm saying, does not contain everything I'm going to teach. And so you're going to have to do a lot of writing more at some point. You would discover it when you get there. So we begin today our third class on content creation in the course of this program. And today we're going to be discussing your content creation goals and your target audience. So we're going to be defining goals. We're also going to understand better, or we're going to be talking about why we need to set goals at all, as well as the target audience and the factors that you need to put into consideration when defining your target audience. Please, can you confirm that you can hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. All right. Thank you. Now, what is the goal? It's a specific achievement or a desired outcome that you expect from your content creation game. So, as a content creator, there is a reason you are creating content. I said it in the last class. A lot of things that we'll be treating today, I've already talked about it at length in the last class. So I may not dwell so much on them anymore. For instance, goal. I explained it when I was talking about effective content creation in the last class. So as a content creator, you're expected to have a goal. You don't just wake up and then you're writing content. What do you hope to achieve with that goal? What's the essence? What's the whole idea behind writing the goal? And then it has to be within a specific period of time. So you're writing your content in the morning because you want it to reach so and so person with this so and so message. Or for the period of January, I'm going to be writing about so and so thing. Your goals will determine how you plan your content and how you strategize them. So the first, I always say, the first step to everything and anything in this life is to set a goal. There has to be a reason. There has to be something that is motivating you to action. The reason you are trying to achieve a particular thing is because you want to do this, you want to do that, you want to do that. You're not just beating around the bush, you're not just doing that thing for doing sake. It's because you have something in mind. You have a reason, there's a reason behind it. Some people also call it why. Why do you want to do that thing? Why are you doing that thing? A strong why. So that's a goal. As it applies to every other thing, it also applies to your content creation game. It applies to you as a content creator. It applies to every other aspect of your life. You should have a goal or goals that you're working with when you are set out to do a particular thing. Now, why are you creating content? One of the reasons could be, so I'm saying that what's the outcome? What's your goal? So these that I highlighted here could be your goal. It could be one of, it could be all part of your goals. It mustn't necessarily be one goal. To have more than one goal, and you could decide to have only one per time. Remember, it's per time. So one of such goals could be because you want to increase web traffic, So on your website, you're going to have to put content that will make people visit that web page often. That's for those who are bloggers, for instance, or who naturally have content that people need to visit on their websites. Another reason or another goal could be because you want to grow your social media engagement. Another reason or goal could be because you want to engage in brand awareness. You want your brand to be known. So you are going to be creating all the content you're going to be creating is going to be geared towards brand awareness, creating awareness about your brand across all of your social media platforms. Another reason you're creating content could be that you're establishing thought leadership. This is one of the things I do. However, when you talk about establishing thought leadership, also, you could be talking about people who create content that are mostly um, one, educational, and two, perceptional. Remember what I said about perceptional content? People who are always putting out their thoughts about different trends. There are sometimes that some people will create content and then um, to the majority, it doesn't just make sense. Let me use pardon that use of word. To the majority, because you see people making comments on such posts. Why would you say this or why would you say that? Whereas the person has used that perceptional content, you don't know the person personally. So you may not even be able to say whether truly this is actually this person's position on this trend. It could be that the person is trying to increase web traffic. So the person wants to trend. And then because of that, because he's a thought leader, for instance, somebody that, for instance, just an example, maybe he's a pastor, for instance, and then the person is posting something that is, let me say, against a religious belief, or that everybody knows that this thing is wrong. It may not necessarily be that the person has dissuaded from the way of God. It may just be that the person is trying to trend. There are a lot of times that controversial posts like that come up and people say, oh, don't mind him, he's just trying to trend, he's driving traffic. And truly, it works for a lot of people. So that's that about establishing thought leadership. Another one is generating leads. Another one is driving sales conversion. So these are some of the reasons that you could be creating content as a content creator. Now, why should you define your content goal? Why? Like I said, it's in the last class, it's just totally off that a person just wakes up in the morning and then gets out of bed and is just up on his way without maybe even preparing. Or you have even prepared yourself, but you don't know where you're going. You're just going. They ask you, where are you going to? And I don't know. You just go out and you start going. That's that's a serious one. So why should you define your goal? Why should you say, oh, this is where I'm going to? Because that's citing life practical life example now. Why should you say that, oh, dad or mom or your husband or your wife, as the case will be, or your children, I'm going to so and so place? One of the main reasons is that you want to be accountable to them, right? That's one of the main reasons. Two is because you have something to achieve in that place. That's why you're going there. So any other thing that may want to obstruct your movement, you would naturally try to block it off or try to keep it out. So Those are practical life examples. The same thing applies to your content. So why should you define your content goal? One of the reasons is because you have guidance and direction. So you're making a headway. You know where you're headed. It doesn't, like, you would not pay attention to distractions. Let me put it that way. You not pay attention to distractions, because anything that is not, that is out of your focus, that is away from your goal, will not steal your attention from what you're trying to do. So you need to focus on what you need to achieve, aligning your actions with your desired outcomes. So you want people to come to your page or your profile to learn about fashion, for instance, and then you open your, I always cite the example of Facebook because I'm so used to Facebook. Okay, so you open your Facebook um, timeline, and then you start seeing food content, start seeing food groups, and then you're opening and watching and joining and all of that. Instead of focusing on fashion, you're supposed to join interest-based groups, you're supposed to watch maybe fashion videos to have an idea of the type of content that you yourself can create. Being somebody who is trying to position his or herself in the fashion industry as an authority in the fashion industry in the online space. So when you pay attention to your distractions, it means that you are not adhering to your goals. It could even be that you have not even set goals at all. But when you have something that you're chasing, your eyes will be on the prize. It's like somebody who is running a marathon race. There's a reason why that person is running a marathon. Of course, the person wants the prize. But the moment people start cheering him or her on, and then the person starts paying attention to them and loses focus of the prize, definitely the person will not eventually get the prize, because he or she has paid attention to distractions. The same thing happens with our content goals. Next is, it allows creators to measure the success. Next is measurable success. So you can measure your success. You can measure the effectiveness of the content that you're creating. Because if the goal is to educate one person, and each time you make a post, one person comments and say, oh, this and this and this and this and this, it means that you have achieved your goal. So you can measure and say, yes, I've actually hit this target. I've actually hit this goal. You can use, I talked about metrics the other time. So here we have some of them. You set specific metrics for your measurement. It could be website traffic, it could be engagement rates, it could be conversion rates, it could be, it could be conversion rates. You can also access your progress and make data-driven decisions to optimize your content strategy. I said it already in the last class. When one strategy is not working based on the metrics that you're using to measure, then you will know what next to do. You will know what else you need to implement to add to what you're already doing or to subtract from, so that you can actually hit that goal that you are going for. The next one is motivation and accountability. When you have a goal, when you have set a goal for yourself, you are motivated to work. You are motivated to do the work that is needed to achieve that goal. Just as it applies to our lives, it applies to your content creation game as well. So it stands as a motivation for you, such that each time you remember, oh, I need people on my page, so I need to go and put that content there. That's if your goal is to grow your social media engagement. Or I need people to engage. Then you need to, that you need Taiwo mentioned about consistency on Chioma Ifanye's page. I wish that somebody paid attention to the number of times you create content in a day. I know that it is not less than 5. I know that is not, she creates not less than 5 content per day, not less. So she could sometimes have up to 10 or maybe even more, but not less. So if you have a goal in mind, it pushes you to action. It pushes you to action. And then it helps you stay accountable. I mentioned accountability when I was relating it to our lives. Accountability helps you stay accountable. Oh, if I'm not doing this, then I'm not achieving the results. So, which also even affects measurement. Is when you're not doing the work, what do you want to measure? And then when you're measuring and you're seeing that the result is not forthcoming, then you need to keep yourself in check so that you stay away from distraction, and then you can focus on what you're supposed to focus on. The next one is resource allocation. It helps you to prioritize your resources, including time, budget, manpower. Yeah, including time, budget, manpower, because the time, where to focus your time, where to focus your energy, where to put your money. If, for instance, you're trying to generate leads, you should know that, especially if it's within a short period of time, you should know that you should be running ads and not just trying to use only organic traffic to achieve what you want to achieve. Either you're trying to generate leads or you're trying to make sales, you should know that you should invest your money in running ads. When you invest your money in running ads, you may not necessarily need to invest your time, because you may have to maybe employ the services if it's something that you're not used to, employing the Pareto principle. So you would focus your own energy where you will get optimum results, and pick on somebody who is an expert in that field to do the work so that you can get the results, which is taking on somebody who is good with ads, either Facebook ads, Instagram ads, Google ads, whatever type of ads that you want to make, or WhatsApp ads. You look for somebody who has a good audience that can advertise for you, or you're running Facebook ads, the person who is good with it, who will do the monitoring, who would ensure that the ad creative is excellent and all of that. So that your goal of generating leads and of making sales will be able to, you'll be able to achieve those goals. So you focus your energy where your strength is more. Now, the next one is adaptation and improvement. It's similar to measurement. It helps you to evaluate your performance and know which strategy is working, which one is not working, which one do you improve. I already mentioned that earlier. Now, how should you set your goals? How? As you can see in the slide, you should use the SMART acronym. Should be specific, should be measurable, should be achievable, should be realistic, and should be time bound. So you want to, your goal is to, for instance, generate, maybe you want to run a class, or you have a class to sell. So you want to generate, using the power of numbers, use the power of numbers to sell. Now you want to generate 1,000 leads because you're hoping to make 100 sales. So the goal is to generate 1,000 leads. You're specific, you know what you want. Because out of those 1,000 leads, you want to make a sale. You want to make sure that you're able to upsell and other people buy, right? That is your goal. You have specified it. And then how long you have measured it. You have measured it because it means that if you are generating less than 1,000 leads, you cannot be hoping to sell to 100 people. I'm not saying it's a hard and fast rule, but we're talking about a game of numbers here. According to experts, what they say about sales, 10%. So 10% of 1,100 is what you're hoping to sell to. So if you are generating less than 1,000 leads, it means that you should not hope to sell to 100 people. Now, you have specified, you have measured, as you have put a parameter for measurement. The next one is achievable. The achievable is going to be at par with realistic and time bound. This goal that you have set, how do you, within what period of time do you hope to achieve it? If you say, okay, in 1 month, I want to generate 1,000 leads so that in turn I will sell to 100 people. Remember, I said that's minimum. Is it possible? Is it realistic? That's where the question comes in. Is it realistic? Is it achievable? If it's realistic, 1,000 in a month is not bad. Now, realistic, how do you hope to achieve it? Is it just by organic traffic? If you want to do organic traffic, it may not work. Even someone like Choma, who has 160,000 followers, may not be able to generate 1,000 leads in a month. Of course, that depends on what we are selling, right? So it depends on how we are putting it forward. And somebody said she does data entry. She runs ads. I've come across her ads several times on Facebook. She doesn't just dwell on her followership, which is organic traffic, to achieve whatever goal she has set for selling data entry academy course, data entry academy program. And then they have a period of time when registration closes. I think one just closed about 2 days ago. The next one will open again in May. So if she has set a goal to sell to 200 people, for instance, it means that she's going to be targeting not less than 2,000 people. And if she opened registration for 2 weeks, for instance, she can't possibly be marketing it only on her profile. She has to use ads. So all these elements have come into play. You are specific. I want to sell to so number, but I need to generate so number of leads. You have also measured it. Now, is it achievable and realistic? Is it achievable within the time frame that you have put it? Then how do you make it real? It means that you are ready to run ads. Now, when you are even running ads, how much are you willing to commit to that ads? Is it the ads that you are going to be running with 800 naira per day that you want to use to generate such quality leads that you hope to sell to? Of course not. Which is where you need to employ the service of an expert who will tell you what you need to do, how you need to go about it, the amount that you are going to be spending on ads to actually make your goal a realistic one, to make it achievable as well. I hope you understand what I just explained. Write your questions down in case you don't understand. Now we move on. Target audience. Who is your target audience? A group of people or that one person that the piece of content that you are writing is intended to reach and resonate with. That one person or those group of people. They are the set of people, those set of people, they are the ones whom your content goal, who through your content goal is met. It means that the goal that you set, you can only say that you have achieved it when your message has gotten to your target audience. What are those things that we need to consider when you are defining your target audience? Some people also say creating your customer avatar. That's your ideal customer. Is similar. Number one is demographics. There are factors like age, gender, location, education level, income, occupation, marital status, and family size. These factors, they are very, very important. I'll be treating it in detail as we move on. Now, an example that I cited, if your content is aimed at teenagers, they're likely to have a tone style. Remember that the way you address an adult is not the way you address a teenager. A full-grown adult is not the way you address a teenager, especially in this age and time where they say we now have the Gen Z generation. And then the subject matter will also be different. The style of writing will be different. In fact, for me, the format will also be different. You will not want to do more of writing because their age, visual will capture them more. Either you're using picture, or you're using animation, or you're using video. It will capture their attention more than purely written content. You can now do a mixture where applicable. Of course, depending on the platform. Don't forget, all these things are interrelated, depending on the platform where you're going to be reaching them. So you have to tailor your content to address your target audience. Always, always. Which is why you're going to have to define your goal before you even define your target audience. Next one is psychographics. We talk about attitude, personal behavior, values, lifestyle, interests of the audience in question. So, I said an example of if you are creating a content that has to do with people who are environmental conscious, you need to focus on that more. So you need to know, for instance, you want to talk about the northern region. You need to have understood, even if you are not based there, you need to have understood how that terrain works and how you are going to create that content to address whatever it is that you want to address, so that these people who you are trying to sell to, or who you are trying to educate with your content, can resonate with you. Okay, I used to work with a brand that is into weight loss. Now, on her status, she does lead generation from time to time. Now, on her status, what she posts more is testimonials, because at every point in time, different questions come to her, like, can a pregnant woman participate in your program? Can a nursing mother participate in your program? Can somebody who is maybe sick with a particular kind of ailment participate in your program, and all of that? And each time she brings a testimonial that answers that question. When she posts the question, she will bring a testimonial that answers that question and post. So everybody who is on the timeline that also has maybe that kind of challenge or that kind of question in mind gets an immediate answer. And most times she closes a sale through that. She will always get people to join the challenge because that content it spoke to her target audience. It spoke to one person who the message is meant for. The next one is interest and hobbies. Okay, for instance, somebody doesn't like cooking. Person doesn't like cooking, and you keep putting up content that are food related, or maybe that teaches how to cook. That kind of person is not, as in, has no business being in your target audience. So these are some of the things that we can consider. And the good thing is that Facebook and Instagram, like I said, I'm not very, very vast with other platforms. But these two platforms, they have given you opportunity. They have the numbers as regards this all these factors that are put in place. They will ask you for the age, they will ask you the interest, and then when they are giving you the analysis of how your timeline has been doing so far, you will see the breakdown there. That's how good technology has improved our world today. So you get to see things like their hobbies, interests. I'm sure that even on your profile, some of you have it written there. Your interests, your hobbies, your passion. So when you're addressing a group of people, like for instance, the person I said she's into weight loss, she can't possibly be directing her content to people who are not on the weighty side. People who don't have a lot of weight, people who are just slim, and she can't possibly be directing her content to them. And then she has, I know that she does premium clients. For instance, currently the list of her challenge, which is 30 days, sells at 25,000 naira for 30 days. There's a demographic, there's a group of people that can afford to pay that. She can't possibly be targeting a student with that kind of offer or with that kind of program. There may be other programs that could accommodate, maybe such a student could participate in 15 days. Of course, that depends on what the student is doing. Now, we know that some students make a lot of money with their skills and all of that, but we're talking about a general overview now. So there's going to be a target audience, a target age, a target profession or career. And then even though men deal with weight loss issues, but the majority are women. So gender, she's going to be targeting women, targets a lot of women more than men, and all of those things. So if you are creating content that has to do with food, and you're putting it up to people who don't know how to cook or who don't like to cook. I have a friend, he's a guy, he does not cook. I was I was trying to he was trying to do a surprise for his wife on his birthday, and I was asking him to cook a particular food, very simple. And he said he cannot do it. He would rather just go and buy from an eatery. In fact, he makes a joke of himself that if he boils water, the water will not boil. If you ask him to boil water, the water will not boil. So that kind of person, selling a cooking class to that person, I'm sure that is just a total waste of time. So these are things that you need to consider when you are creating your when you are defining your target audience. The next one is technographics. Are they people that are online? And this now takes us back to when I was talking about traditional forms of content. So if your target audience are the group of people who are not vast with technology, they barely use um, smartphones, for instance, they barely use the computer or the internet, they barely have access to internet. I believe that you should be reaching them through the radio or through the newspaper or through TV adverts and not Facebook ads. I hope you understand where I'm coming from in that aspect. You should be you have to find another way to reach them, which is the traditional means. Because the traditional had existed before technology has almost taken over everything. Let me put it that way. So how do you reach those people who are not technology inclined? And you need to find ways. So that's why you need to do, so that your effort is not being wasted. This is one of the reasons for targeting your audience, create and defining your target audience rather, so that your effort is not wasted. So the last one that I put here is cultural consideration. Something happened. I don't know if we know Emeka Nobis on Facebook. Maybe some of us know him. Something happened sometime last year. Um, he organizes tours around. So I was at one of his um, tours in Ubumosho, and in that conference, he was narrating his experience prior to him coming down to Ubumosho. He was supposed to be in Ebonyi State, and then he had made a post on his Facebook profile. I didn't see the post anyway, but he was talking about it at that conference, and then he said that he made a post. It was a harmless post to him, according to him. He was, I think, he kind of tried to crack a joke with it, but it appeared expensive to the people of that place. And then there was a serious issue, as regards that post. People were commenting and commenting and commenting. He was supposed to go to Ebonyi State for that same conference, but because of that post that he made, he had to cancel it because it was so serious that people were threatening him. So they asked him not to even come down at all, else he'll be in danger. It was that bad. So when you're creating content, you need to put in mind the cultural background, the cultural heritage, the perception or preference that your target audience has. For instance, there are people who would rather do palm oil, akara made with palm oil, than the one made with vegetable oil. There are some people who, for anything in the world, they will not add locust beans to their food. So if you're a food vendor and you're selling food that is made with locust beans to somebody who does not eat locust beans, how do you intend to sell? There are so many things that people hold dear as part of their culture, and like they can basically not do away with it. So if you are selling anything to them, it must not tamper with that aspect of their life. If you are bringing anything forth to them, it must not hinder whatever it is that they hold dear. So these are part of the reasons you need to define your target audience. Now, this is where you get to write more seriously, because I'm just going to be discussing it. So, under demographics, I'll discuss demographics and psychographics in details before we wrap up for today. I talked about age. The age demographic of the target audience profoundly impacts the type of content that will resonate with them. For instance, I already cited the example of teenagers. If you are putting a content that is targeted at teenagers, you are going to most likely need the use of slangs. For instance, today now, we have no grief for anybody. That slang can come in your content, depending on what you are creating. You're going to have to do trending topics, most likely. I already said it, you're going to have to use vibrant visuals to capture their attention, because that is what young people like. If you are doing young adults, you may have to focus on career development. You may have to do personal finance. how they can grow money and all of that. And then how to navigate adulthood. That one now has to do with personal development and then lifestyle. Then if you are creating content for adults, for seniors, you may have to be talking about health. I talked about healthy eating. I talked about, changing their lifestyle, all that they have been doing before, that maybe they've not been doing it well. And then you have a knowledge that can impact them. It could be content that you're going to be sharing. You can be talking about retirement planning. You can still even talk about financial development too, because some of our seniors, some are in a place where they still don't know that they can do other things apart from salary jobs to get money. Like about 3 years ago, when I launched into the online space, there was a training I organized for a period of time for women. And then I found out that in my class, there were women who are even near retirement who joined the class. What was I teaching in that class? I was teaching home business, how to start and build a profitable home business. So I talked about different skills that they can take up from the women can take up from the comfort of their home to build and then make money from. So I discovered that there were people of that age, 45, 50, 55. Some are working and they are near retirement already. So they've been looking for what to do to add to their skill. In fact, some of them even joined my yogurt class. They learned how to make yogurt and they're like, oh, they're going to be making it and as a side also to make money. There are some that don't even work at all, like they are full-time housewives, but they have also been looking for ways to make money to support the family, especially with the way things are now in the economy. So they took up some of those skills. Some of them, the ones that I don't teach, I gave them recommendations to people who could teach them, and then they started doing it. And many of them were grateful for it. So these are some of the things that you can do if you are targeting, an older age range. Then leisure activities, how they should. We already talked about healthy living, how they should exercise, the things that they can do to relax and all of that. Then the next one is gender. For instance, if you're a fashion brand, you can't possibly, okay, if you're a fashion brand and you are selling ready to wear and your focus is women, then you can't be creating content centered around men. Unless you're talking about fashion in general. But if you have defined your audience, you have set a goal, remember, and you have defined your audience, then you shouldn't be creating content that has to do with male fashion or that is focused on male fashion because you are not versed with male fashion. Your expertise is with female fashion and is ready to wear, so you should be doing that. I already started an example of weight loss. I know that men too have weight loss issues, but it's more with women. So you focus on women to be able to sell well. And then if you are teaching, if you are teaching maybe if you are the one that talks about reproductive health, which of the genders are you talking about? Are you going to be talking to both of them? You need to define these things so that when you create content, you tailor it to the gender that you are addressing. Then location, geographic location. There's a similar there's something similar with culture there too, because it now comes to cultural norms, because the geographic location influences cultural norms, it influences language preferences. Okay, we're talking about language and location and even region. Let me cite an example of Niger Brown Chick. I don't know if we know her. The good thing is that if you didn't know her before, By the time you visited Choma's page, if you actually visited there, you should have known Niger branch. They are best of friends. She was she organizes trade fairs all over the country. She goes from places to places. So last year she was planning to visit Kano for the trade fair. I think it was in December or thereabout. Okay, what am I driving at as regards language preferencing, cultural norms, and even location? She had to do for you to know the extent to which people go to create content to achieve their goals. Her husband is not an Hausa man, but I think he grew up in the north and he has a mastery of Hausa language. She had to get her husband to dress like a malam and record a video addressing the Hausa market, the Hausa people, as regards advertising the trade fair. She herself, when she got to Kano, she had to go and do a photo shoot. When she got to Kano to prepare the ground, she had to go and do a photo shoot wearing different attires, looking like a proper Hausa woman. Maybe you could say like an Alaja too, just to create content so that she can sell out the um um the trade fair. This is not to make people come and register for trade fair. No, vendors have already registered for their trade fair. That's the people that are going to sell. But these other ones I'm talking about was to attract the audience, the market, so that people will come to that venue and buy. That's the extent that people go to create content. So she knew the market that she was going into, and she needed something that will warm up, that will make them warm up to her, and she went for it. And you need to hear the testimonies about Kano Trade Fair as well as Abuja. So that is content creation for you. You need to define these things. That's the only way to get results, to get like the necessary results, the results that you actually desire. So people consider, even in our day-to-day living, when you go around and then you hear somebody speak your language, you naturally warm up to the person. It's the same thing in marketing, the same thing in content creation. If somebody speaks your language, maybe in a video, or you read it in text, you will naturally gravitate towards that person. You will want to, be interested in what the person is doing and all of that. So the next one is educational level or occupation. Of course, if depending on what you're selling, you need to understand the educational background, you need to understand the occupational interests of the audience. I started an example of my class that I taught a few years back. It helps you to tailor your content to their knowledge and professional needs. For instance, a content targeting professionals in a specific industry may delve into niche topics, industry trends and best practices. I'm sure that we know Aproko Doctor and what he does. The type of content he creates, he addresses both middle class, lower class, whatever class you are, you would understand the type of content that he creates. Of course, I'm not talking about the elderly people, because most of them, though some are coming up now, but most of them you will not find, they are not technology inclined. So for the people that are technology inclined, no matter the language that you speak, you still get to understand what Apoko Doctor is talking about. But for people who do for instance, articles, blog posts, and all of that, when you are writing such things, you need to address, you need to understand the level of education and then the type of occupation of your audience for you to be able to tailor the content to resonate with them. Then, if we talk about educational content, it may vary in complexity based on the audience educational attainment. So somebody who maybe didn't even finish secondary school, there's some kind of content that you create that such a person will not understand, especially if the person has not developed him or herself. There's no need to flog that. And then this kind of content too ranges from beginner level tutorials to advanced insights for experts and all of that. The level with which an 100 level student will read and understand or listen to a particular type of content is not the same level at which a professional or a graduate will do that. The level of understanding is going to be different. So, as you are considering education, you are considering age, you are considering everything comes hand in hand together. The next one is income and marital status. How does this one come? There are socioeconomic factors. I already talked about income level. How much is the person earning? You want to sell a shoe of 15,000 to a student. What work is he or she doing that will help the person to be able to afford that? Or you're talking about making hair, and instead of proposing possibly selling a wig to the person that doesn't like making hair and want to save money on making hair consistently, you're asking the person to come and do medium braids or to come and do knotless braid. Knotless braid, the person will buy attachment. Attachment today now, only God knows that. Last I heard, it was already over 3,000. I don't use attachments anymore. So, and you want the person to make knotless braid, you buy attachment of how much? And then we still pay you to make the hair. If the person puts the money together, it's enough to buy a hair that can last for as long as possible. The person will just be weaving the hair and making wig. So you need to consider all these things before you start putting out content, irrespective of the type of content that you are putting forward. You need to consider the lifestyle choices. You need to know that when you are creating content for an affluent audience, it will be different from when you are creating a content for an average audience. It will be different from when you are creating content for an average earner, rather. An average earner. And then a family-oriented content will focus on budgeting tips, maybe family-friendly activities, parenting advice, and all of those things. The next one is family size and life stage. Whether the audience consists of singles, couples, families with children, or empty nesters, life stage considerations influence content. These things influence content preferences and needs. New parents, for instance, will be looking for content that are related to childcare. There's a group on Facebook, we call it Ask the Pediatricians. There are a lot of new moms on that page. They just come to ask their questions and they get responses either from older moms or from doctors, or of course from the person that opened the group, which is a pediatrician. And then people who are aspiring to get married, or intending couples, or singles who they will follow relationship coaches, because those are the content that are tailored to what they are hoping to achieve online. You know that some people also have goals for being online. Like you who is creating the content, you have a goal for creating content. People who come online, some of them also have goals for coming online. Some people, their purpose for coming online is to come and find a life partner. So they will join every singles group. They will follow every relationship coach. It will tailor what they are, the activities that they will also engage in online. That's their own goal for coming online. So if you are not addressing your target audience and such a person is coming, it means that, and if for instance you have the kind of content or product or service that this person needs, or because you are not tailoring your content to address this person, the person will not see you. You keep missing each other. Now for that's about that for demographics. For psychographics, I talked about attitudes and values. You need to understand the attitudes and values. You need to, if for instance you are creating content that is promoting environmental sustainability, you may need to, it will be content that will resonate with audience who prioritize eco-conscious living. Maybe take for instance, there's somebody I know that um she doesn't, when I met her, she's one of the women that I said attended my classes, and then recently I met her like physically, and we got discussing. She knows that I talk about healthy living, staying away from seasoning cubes and all of that. So she was telling me that, okay, we're already in another year. So this year now makes it 9 years that she has been cooking without seasoning cubes. And she has testimonials. Like she said, her husband is always down with malaria. They're always treating malaria. Since she started cooking without seasoning cubes, that has stopped. Like he barely has malaria. So she was telling me of the testimonials and all of that. So she has the place where she stays is not a place that has soil. So she went and put containers together and um, grew her own herbs garden. So she uses herbs and spices. She has mint, she has aloe vera, she has, different spices that she uses. They are all homegrown. She does not even have to buy. She only buys the few that she doesn't have. For instance, ginger, garlic, and some others. But she has, so I even visited her place and then I saw it. She even gave me mint leaves. I also gave her oregano that I brought for I took to her then. So when you want to sell to that kind of person, food for instance, you have to, you know, tailor whatever you are selling or what you are talking about to resonate with her. She was able to, talk with me about it and all that because she knows that I've been talking about something like this. And I even had to screenshot her testimonial to send to some groups because there are people who believe that if you have not used seasoning cubes, your food cannot be sweet. And it's not true. Or that if you don't use seasoning cubes, you will not survive. That's absolutely not true. So that's not about that. For lifestyle, I think what I just define now is similar. There are people who have tailored their lifestyle to be in a particular way, and then if you are selling to them, whatever you are selling, whatever you are talking about, cannot contradict their lifestyle. They will not listen to you. It has to be in line. It has to be in line. You can create contents that talk about outdoor activities, maybe travel guides for people that like to travel. They will definitely resonate with your content. There's one lady on my profile recently. She relocated to the UK, and then she was saying that people were asking her that she should help her with help them with the location, and she was like, she's not a travel agent. However, she's going to share her relocation story. So she created a page different from the one that she currently uses and started talking about how she relocated. Now, all the people that are going to be visiting that page are going to be people who are interested in relocating to the UK and maybe have been finding it difficult to do so or don't know how to go about it. They are going to go to that page and they are going to be reading her content and then probably implementing where they need to implement and all of that. So that is how to tailor content to your target audience. Take for instance, if tomorrow she now decides to be a travel agent, you know that it will not be difficult for her to get customers. because she already has people who she has fed. Remember what I said, that content is food. She already has people who she has fed with the stories. She has educated them, with all the things that she did to be able to facilitate her own relocation. So they will willingly pay her to help them do the processing. I already talked about interests and hobbies, and then personality traits. Content for introverts may emphasize introspection, maybe self-care practices, strategies for navigating social situations. And then if we talk about extrovert focused content, it may highlight maybe social events, networking opportunities, group activities, and people will easily resonate with these things. Values and beliefs. Aligning content with the audience values and beliefs, it helps to foster deeper connections and resonance. You create content, you promote content that has to do with diversity, equity, inclusion. This type of content may appeal to people who are socially conscious. And then talk about ethics too, ethical consumerism, talking about fair trade, cruelty-free products, and sustainable practices. Remember that I said when you are creating perceptional content, you are talking in line with what you feel, what you see, what you understand about a particular thing. So, for instance, if you are selling to people in the north, and then maybe your target audience are people in the north who they can't do without sugar, they like sugar a lot, and then you're talking about healthy living, so you're talking about how people should reduce sugar and all of that. Don't go and create a content that will be kind of insultive to them. Rather, you should create content that will educate them, that will open their eyes to see that what they are ingesting, what they feel that is life, they are enjoying life because they like sweet things, is actually very harmful. You should educate them in a way that they will see it by themselves, that what they are actually doing is harmful. Oh, they should embrace what this person is actually trying to talk about. Then we have behavioral patterns. That is that about demographics and psychographics. Now, for each of these factors, you can, when you're defining your target audience, they can be either, you can have each of them present. I believe from all the examples I cited, you should be able to understand where I'm coming from. You can have them in equal percentage. You can have one overweighing the other. It absolutely depends on you. Remember that the first thing is to set your goal. It is your goal that will determine who you are reaching with your goal. How do you want to achieve your goal? You need to reach some people, right? And it is these people that will help your goal to come to fulfillment. They're the ones that will help you to achieve the goal. So, and those people are your target audience. So the factors that you are going to be using to determine or to define this target audience, is the ratio is totally left to you. I hope that this class was not boring. Any question? Any question?
I have a question, ma.
Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you so much for the class. It's quite interesting and very educative. So my question is, you said that when we are creating content, it must meet the needs of the people we are our target audience. So My question now is, for example now, you said people that are single or people that are about to get married, you find them with on the pages of people that do relationship coach, people that
Yes.
relationship coaches or that have a relationship, a page about relationship. Does that mean that, for example now, I target brides to be, because I do bridals, I sell ashoke, I do all those stuff. So does it mean that if I want to create content for those set of people, do I have to start a relationship page, or do I have to start writing as like a relationship coach? That's my question. I just use that as an example.
Okay. It's nice that you used it as an example, because I was also going to answer you that I only used relationship coaches as examples. Of course, that does not mean that you will find them only. I didn't say only.
Okay.
I didn't say that's the only place you will find them. Of course, you will find them on pages of fashion designers because they are looking for bridal wears. And
Mm.
that's for people who are already preparing for wedding, right? If
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
not preparing for a wedding, I will not be looking for bridal gown up and down, right?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Eh. So I didn't say that's the only place you will find them. I said you will find them in places like that. I said that people who also come online, they have a goal. Some of them have
Mm.
goals. Do you understand?
Yes,
Uh-huh.
ma'am.
So somebody who, for instance, has been to a relationship coaches page or been to dating groups and
Mm.
luckily has gotten somebody that is ready to walk down the aisle with him or her, they will,
Mm.
from there, they will now move to a fashion designer's page. They will move to a cake vendor's page. They will move to an event planner's page, right?
Yes, ma'am.
They will move to a makeup artist page. That's it.
Okay, ma. I understand, ma. Thank you, ma.
You're welcome. I'm sorry about that break in transmission. Do we still have questions? Please, if you have question, raise your hand. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can
Yes,
hear
yes,
you.
I can hear you clearly. Yes, ma, I can hear you.
Does anybody have questions? Okay. We have assignment though. Nobody asked question. That means this class was boring, you know. Okay.
No, it was not. Just that I don't have questions today.
All right. So we have an assignment. We have assignments as usual. You know now. I always give assignments because this is practical. Like at least before now, some of us have been creating content. It's not like you are new to it. You just need to fine tune the game. So, and in fine tuning the game, you need to practice. So the first assignment, I'm sure that Mr. Silva will send to the group, but they will send the slides to the group. But pending that time, please listen so that if you don't understand, you ask. You redefine your target audience. I know that in the last assignment, I told you to tell me your target audience. But now, with all the factors that I've highlighted, you're going to redefine your target audience. Number two, from February to December, set one goal. That's minimum. But you can set whatever goal you want to set for yourself. But for the purpose of this assignment, I just need one. From February to December. So one goal per month that you intend to achieve with your content. One goal per month. Then the last one, considering the goal that you set, what type of content will you be creating in February? So you're setting a goal for each month, or you are writing for me one goal for each month that you intend to achieve with your content, whether you are doing personal branding, or you have a product, or you have a service. I need a goal per month from February to December. That means you are giving me 11 goals. Now, for your February goal, based on that goal, tell me the type of contents that you'll be creating for February. Is it well explained? If you don't understand, please raise your hand and ask. Elizabeth, please speak. Elizabeth, Emeka Victor, speak.
Okay, ma. Good afternoon, ma. Thank you so
Good
much
afternoon.
for the lecture. So, ma, you said that for our goals, that after we made the goals, we tell you kind of content that we're creating. So, my question is this: are we like saying if it is inspirational or educational or pure
Yes,
content? Okay, all right.
yes, yes.
Okay, ma. Okay, thank you.
Of course, you are not going to be doing one type throughout the month now.
Yes, ma, yes.
Eh, maybe I should have added that you should tell me the platform. But let's just leave it at that. Taiwo,
Good afternoon, ma. I'm sorry,
good
the class
afternoon.
it has been breaking in mind seriously, intermittently. I barely followed today, I would say. But please repeat the assignment. And I want to ask, please, will there be a recording? I didn't follow that much. It's been breaking in this end, seriously.
Definitely, there's always a recording.
Okay, ma.
I'll send the assignment to the group.
Okay, ma. Thank you, ma.
You're welcome. Any other question? Even Mr. Kalu, I can see he's experiencing network glitch. It's not been really palatable these few days. So I'll send the assignment to the WhatsApp group, pending when the slides will drop. Meanwhile, if we don't have any more questions, I think we can call it a day. For those who
Okay, no problem.
okay, Taiwo,
Yeah, I wanted to say you emphasize on the psychographics, but since you say you're going to send the audio recording, I think I'll listen again, please.
it will be sent.
Okay.
It will be sent. So for those who voted that they would like to continue, they would like to not continue per se, is more like an implementation of what you have learned in this class in more practical terms, in more practical ways. Okay, Mr. Silva, you're back.
Yes, I'm back. Oh, my network was trying to frustrate me.
Yes, I noticed.
Okay, good evening, everybody. It's been an amazing section. So this class has been really, really wonderful. So, in the next 5 to 10 minutes, we'll quickly sign the attendance. Remember, attendance is 70%, and also students who did not sign
And some people
attendance.
just disappeared though. Hi.
Students who did not sign attendance did not attend the class.
Oh,
So the reason why we do it this way is because most people will come online and they'll probably sign the attendance and they'll run away. So if you check on the comment box now, I just sent in the link for the attendance. So go ahead and sign the attendance form.
okay,
So,
so while you sign the attendance, let me quickly address this. The content creation challenge is, like I said, it's going to be putting into practice what you have learned. You're going to be getting a daily guide in the direction of what to post. It will help you. The purpose is, first of all, to help you practice what you have learned. 1, 2, to help you stay consistent. 3, to help you awaken for those who have just been sleeping, whose timeline has been sleeping, or to reawaken for those maybe who have been doing something before and have not been consistent, to reawaken life, your dead timeline. It's going to be strictly on Facebook.
yeah.
It's going to be strictly on Facebook. However, you can pick up ideas and replicate on your other social media platforms. You can pick up ideas from whatever you post on Facebook and then replicate on your other social media platforms. You are going to be posting minimum of twice a day. It means that we will be guiding you for 2 content per day. So you can, of course, go ahead and still create other content as relating to your personal brand, your product, or your service. But for the challenge, we're going to be providing you with 2 content for a day, and then it's going to run for 2 weeks. This program is coming to an end this week. So we are hoping that for the last 2 weeks of February, we're going to run the challenge. And like I said, for those who have indicated interest, I'm going to be reaching out to you personally for the fee. I've already mentioned the benefits here. And then for your profile, the team, the GWC team, is going to be working on your profile to help you optimize it, of course, with your help, because you're going to be providing us with what you do. You're going to give us some details to help us understand you better, or your brand, or whatever you stand for, on Facebook. And then we're going to be optimizing your Facebook profile for you. So your Facebook profile optimization, and then the content creation. When you do those 2 together, um, I will leave you to gather the testimony at the end of the challenge, and then you give us feedback. So I will not blow the trumpet. At least without even giving you a guide or whatever. For those who have been implementing what they have learned, we all saw the testimonial that somebody gave in the group 2 days ago. So that is that about the content creation challenge. I will reach out to you inbox for the fee. It's going to come at a fee, but it's not expensive. Like I said, it's chicken change. It's not even up to what you spend on data. For that, we are willing to guide you for 2 weeks, and we are willing to optimize your profile for you. So take notes.
Okay.
Somebody said she can't wait for the challenge. Oh yeah.
Okay. So to add up to what our instructor is saying, so we are going to be choosing two winners for this challenge, and the two winners of this challenge will be getting 50% refund of the fee they paid for this challenge.
Hey.
So for people that are going to be participating
Who
in this
goes
challenge,
there?
we we're going to just choose just two people, and we'll be getting a refund of 50% of the amount they paid for the challenge. So once the portal for the registration of the challenge opens, do well to register and participate. It's going to be a strict one. We are going to follow it up and make sure that everybody that participates on daily, when you do the challenge, you copy the link and we'll give you a place to upload the link so that we can track and know people that are participating efficiently on this challenge. Okay, so that we'll not have people doing ojoro and at the end they want to win a prize. So that will be all for now. So I guess we are done filling the attendance. How many people are still filling the attendance? Okay, if you are still filling the attendance, please do well to complete it on time. And if you still have any question, you can still ask. Please, if you have not filled the attendance, once the class ends, the link for the attendance will disappear. And note, you did not come for the class if you did not fill attendance. So that will be all for now. Elizabeth, you are raising your hand. Do you have any question? Hello? Okay. Okay, okay. So I don't know. Instructor, do you still have any other thing
Sir?
to say? Do you have any other thing to tell us? So that we are still waiting for them to fill the attendance.
No, that's all for today. We'll meet again on Friday for the last lap. And for those of them who have not connected with us on social media, I don't know what you're waiting for. For those of you who have not saved my number or sent me a message to save your own, I don't know what you're waiting for. Oh, the network is bad again. The attendance link is here. Who is asking for attendance? Oluwatoyin, the link has been dropped.
No, I said please that you should give me more time to just. I'm trying to open the link. It's not opening, so I'm just reopening. Maybe because of
Okay.
network. That's why. Thank you.
Okay. Copy it into your browser.
Okay. Let me do that.
Okay, Princess is also complaining. Copy it into your browser.
You can copy the link if it's not clickable. You can copy the link if it's not clickable. Let me also send it again for people that did not see it initially. I'll just send it again. People that did not see it initially, I just sent the link again. So